Hello, y'all. This is Afaya here with my co-host Steven, and you are
Hey,
watching
hey,
Out.
hey.
So, first of all, before we jump into it, because normally we say it at the end, so I just want to say it in the beginning here, just so that we get more people on it right away. For in case you don't watch all the way to the end, get on Charity Miles. Our team is the name of the podcast. Figure it out, except with the D. Figured it out. Yeah, so go to Charity Miles, join our team, figured it out, and you know, get your booty moving for some charity for your favorite charity organization. Good stuff.
It's getting
Anyway,
towards winter time. You gotta start working on your body for next summer.
yeah, and also what's cool, you can uh you can still you can do run indoors. You could be like you could do that. You're indoor or whatever.
Yeah, it won't work on a treadmill, but if you're on an indoor track, it'll still work.
Yeah. So go to the gym, do the indoor track as the winter comes along.
Also know
Get your
people
mind.
that do laps around the mall. They just walk
Anyway,
around the mall.
jumping into it now,
All
I
right.
want to start off by talking about Foxconn. Goodness. Uh, it's kind of surprising that, well, it's not so surprising that it hasn't really made too much headway in mainstream media because, they don't talk about anything except lies to try to divide us. But, real news stories, you kind of got to go dig and do your own reading. But basically, Foxconn is the guys who manufacture uh, most of Apple's products. They do all the um, factory work for them, and according to a stat in 2012, they were actually doing 40% of consumer electronic products.
That's a huge chunk right there.
Yeah. So I mean, these guys are, they're a huge corporation. So um, their practices are kind of important to like what's going on with the world economy. After all, they're the third they 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 they're the third largest employer worldwide. The only one who has more employers is McDonald's and Walmart. So yeah, like it matters what these guys are doing.
Yeah.
Um, and unfortunately, what they're doing um,
It's
is
illegal.
very yeah. Yeah, it's illegal. All right. They're, they're just lying to their employees and treating them very cruelly. Uh, they're the Shanghaiest um, uh, a report out there, a report journaling out there of the Shanghaiest reported that security guards are actually beating employees. So it's like, oh, you're
for,
not.
for any reason or no reason or just
Uh,
rather they're beating employees.
yeah, just for like say
Not that it's
underperforming.
okay under any circumstance. I was just curious. Like, do you have to do something
Yeah,
wrong to get beaten, or do they just have to feel like beating you up and you just got to take it?
if they feel that you're not completing tasks fast enough, they're basically just working people to the boat, like all the worst things that people kind of fear about capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
Like these guys are kind of like implementing those things. And what's really sad is apparently, they're this is pretty standard for for China. Like while this place has really terrible working conditions, uh, it's still one of the best options that the people who work there have. And
Oh, it's not even meeting regulations for China, right? or is it just not meeting our regulations as a company outsourcing to China?
Well, yeah, they definitely don't meet our work standard regulations.
Oh, for
But
sure.
the thing is, their abuses are leading to a lot of suicide. You know, they have like one of the highest suicide rates of any employment anywhere.
God
You
damn.
know, so like when the people there, um, when they're killing themselves like more than uh, like coal miners, like it's we have a condition that
Yeah.
needs to be addressed.
No,
So
for sure.
I mean, because according to the reports, these are like well known, like everyone corroborated
Mhm.
this stuff that you know like when suicides happen, it's just almost considered like normal now.
This was
They
a 94-page report, if I'm not mistaken, right? That was
well,
just
it,
issued.
they've continued. Like there was there was actually uh, I forget which organization, but some big news group in the states went over there and did like a whole expose on it
Mhm.
years back, and they're like, okay, we'll clean up our act, but then they didn't. Even
Yeah,
after that,
that
people.
was that was eight years ago when it first got this information first surfaced. In 2010, I believe is what I read. When they
Yeah,
had the first initial report on it, and they said they're going to clean up their act, and nothing's happened since then.
yeah. 2010 is when they kind of got the big slap on the wrist, like, hey, you guys gotta stop making it so all your employees are killing themselves. And they're like, oh yeah, we'll change. But it hasn't got much better since then. Not quite as many suicides, but still a lot, and still still reports of people being publicly shamed in at the workplace. Still uh, people being promised uh, things, and then it like being basically forced to work uh, overtime hours, double time hours, and then only getting paid regular pay.
Mm-hmm.
So like really just high stress to the maximum.
Mm-hmm.
Getting promised that they'd have uh, living conditions because you read about it being iPhone City.
Yeah, at one of their plants. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have 350,000 workers there. Basically, the whole city just works on iPhones. And so,
Talk about Sacramento and Fresno, like in all them combined.
yeah, and
Take the
I
three
mean,
major cities in Central California and combine them, you still don't make iPhone City.
and then like
I'm not talking about like the outlying cities and suburbs and stuff, just like the actual cities. But yeah, it's a huge place. Basically, is my point.
yeah, like that's a few cities put together, all there to like, day and night make iPhones.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is a American consumerism at its best. But I mean, not just American consumerism, because I mean, they sell iPhones around the world, but obviously we're the biggest chunk of that
Right.
consumerism.
This is one of the bigger fears of outsourcing too. Is that like yeah, it's saving these huge corporations money to do it, but at what cost to the people that are having to work on our products. So that's definitely something to think about next time you buy an iPhone.
Yeah, I mean, to everything there, there's always a cost, and people want to like blame the corporations, and that's fair to an extent, but I mean, should Apple like step in and do something about this? I think they should, but also, um, you know, we should try to be more mindful of our purchases. If we don't want this exploitation to take place, then maybe we don't need the iPhone 6 and the 7 and the 8 and the 8.5 and the 8.75s. Like or
Right. Yeah, that's fair. Granted, I've always been an Android guy, but
they make some Android parts as well, but I mean, Apple's the main. They're the main producer for Apple. That that's where the large percent of the factory work is being allocated to. But even still, and I know people are gonna throw tissy fits like, oh well, whatever, I could buy whatever, like that's right, and like no one's saying that. These kind of issues are, it's not a simple fix kind of thing.
You're just saying be mindful of what you're buying. You can still buy an iPhone. That's fine.
Yeah, you could buy. I mean, you could buy 10 iPhones. That's your choice. But
know what you're buying. Know your product.
There's a cause and effect to everything, and it's just built into the complexity of this world. With mass consumerism like that, we're gonna get mass consumer type problems. So, the way it goes.
Well, then, like, what are some of the solutions to this? Like, say iPhone does want to step in and make things better. Should they, maybe stop outsourcing to China, or should they, like maybe use factories here in the U.S.? You're talking about this Foxconn company making a factory in Wisconsin, right?
Yeah. So Trump was working out a deal where they basically said they could bring 13,000 jobs to here in the States. And I mean, it's not like Apple can't afford it. Like, even say it's a bit more expensive to manufacture here, it's still a great thing because it's going to get a little bit of that race to the bottom economics away, where we're exploiting these workers who really don't have the same worker rights that we have here in the States. And it helps build our economy because we're bringing 13,000 jobs here that would be that we don't have right now. So I mean, that'd be a big help. And heck, man, who knows what that could feel for Wisconsin? Because there's a lot of area in Wisconsin that's just like a whole lot of nothing. You're just just driving through 100 miles per hour, and there ain't nothing. So, with 13,000 more jobs there, I mean, that could really help develop Wisconsin to something different. And that who knows what that could bring about.
For sure. And like I said, by bringing those jobs here to America, people are forced to, like, you can't get away with paying them less than what they're supposed to. You can't get away with not giving them their overtime pay. You can't get away with feeding your employees, like that's not going to fly here. So like that's a possible solution. Granted, like you said, they would have to pay their employees a lot more than they're paying them over there. But I'm pretty sure minimum wage in Wisconsin is nowhere near what it is here in California either. So
Yeah, and regardless of that, it's like, you know, I mean, it's not like Apple isn't going to be a $1 trillion company regardless, right?
right.
Like, they can afford to lose a little bit of that headroom and you know take on the bill for better work practices. I mean, they always kind of parade themselves as this like forward company. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is putting the bodies where their mouth is. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, if this Wisconsin deal with Governor Walker and Trump and all those guys really goes through, then hey, you know that um, you know that's someone you know actually you know
Move in the right direction at least.
yeah it's moving in the right direction and not just being like because like you can't knock them for like wanting to be greedy and get the most out of their money, but like when that kind of you know indecent things are going on to humans just for just for a phone.
You get a brand new iPhone. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, we can do something about this. We can make some changes, and so
Yeah,
I
maybe they don't come out with a new phone every 6 months. I don't know. Maybe maybe they come out with one every year and 6 months instead. You know.
yeah, however it needs to be, and you know, it's like I know people are addicted to always wanting the next thing too, but I mean, technology's already came so far. Like, I mean, it's just yeah, that's just it's almost like an addiction of the rush of the next phone or something, you know, because like at this, I mean, because they our phones nowadays do way more imaginable than like you know like when I was a kid like I didn't even have a phone nowadays you know like even my
Yeah,
nephew and niece have phones multiple you know.
I remember my dad's first cell phone. Like he got it through work. His work bought him gave him a work phone, and so he had a cell phone on him at all times, and that was his first cell phone. I remember thinking that thing was small. Had the
I
green
remember
screen on it and everything, you know.
I remember when only really cool business guys had cell phones, and
Yeah.
they were like these ginormous things. Like that was a signal of status with their giant phone.
Yeah. It was barely something you could put in your pocket, like just barely.
Yeah, here we go on our grandpa kick again. So
Right.
let's get into your story. What would you bring up this week?
All right. So my story is about a doctor who was injured in an ATV crash and was charged $56,603 for an air ambulance transport. What happened was he wrecked his ATV. It was like his first time riding an ATV. He wrecks it bad, tears his forearm open. Says it's something like a 6-inch gash, so you see all his muscle tissue and all that all in his arms. And he wrapped it up as immediately, and his friend drove him to the nearest hospital. From there, they were like, "This is like one of the worst arm injuries I've ever seen. We got to get him medevac to a hospital that's about an hour's flight away. Otherwise, he's going to lose his arm." He was concerned about how much it was going to cost him and his insurance, how much his insurance company was going to cover out of the air transport, and they kind of just told him that he was asking too many questions and that he needed to go on this flight in order to save his arm. basically told him shut up and get in the helicopter. um,
Your
and
ass in that helicopter. You're paying us, boy.
But it doesn't even go to the hospital. They're just trying to save his arm. Like, this is what needs to happen in order to get your arm saved. You'll worry about the bills later, sort of thing. So let's see. At first, the insurance companies weren't even gonna pay a dime for the air transport. They were gonna make him pay the whole bill. Eventually, they gave in and paid about 12,000 of the 56,000. He still owed over $44,000.
And that's foul. Little known fact, like insurance companies will try to get away with that shit. They'll like if it's a huge bill and your contract doesn't necessarily specifically outline that, like make sure whatever health insurance you get, like it says what you'll be paying for if you need a special ambulance, because like there's some like his, I won't name their name of you, but they'll put the
bill, go to court with you guys. I'm sorry.
they'll put the bill on you, and then they'll wait till you contest it and have it sent to.
Yeah. And they called him 3 days after this all happened. He was still in the hospital. His arm was still getting worked on. He was in there for weeks trying to get his arm saved before they finally gave up and had it amputated. But 3 days after the accident, he's still in the hospital, and they're calling him up. They're like, "Hey, how are you gonna pay this bill? You owe us $56,000."
Yeah, it's like, what bill? I ain't even out the door yet, and what am I paying you for? Like, I'm insured with you, so. But yeah, they'll slip that bill on you, and like so like you gotta make sure you stay on top of them, because like for the things that they're supposed to pay, and all you need to do is just contest it and send it back in, like, hey, no, I have insurance, this is covered.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're fighting with it's the transport company fighting with the insurance company fighting with them. Then they're both trying to get you to pay. It's like
with the hospital, yeah. There's three, because people, ambulance companies are actually third party. They're not even connected with like as far as like payments and stuff. Like they're independent of the hospital. So there's between that and the hospital, and then the insurance company. So it's three ways of information, and no one wants to pay the bill. So it's just gonna go to one, and so they're gonna send you the bill, and you're like, no, like tell these guys got the bill.
Right.
So it's kind of silly. Which is,
just imagine three people at a restaurant. They're fighting over who's gonna pay for the food.
And yeah, they're all cheapskates who don't tip. But yeah, so like, the epileptic people would be like, yeah, don't even call the ambulance, because they can't afford that bill if they don't have health insurance. Because like here's how I see it, and yeah, I'll cut this out afterward, and we can get back to it. But basically, having a single payer system, we can have a base level of support for all Americans, and then any insurance you want more than that, you can pay for. You could still have private health insurance companies that get, you could pay extra who would fit 100% of your bill, but obviously those would be more expensive. Those, the wealthier people would get those, but at least that base level everyone would be able to have.
Yeah, that worked for me. I don't that makes more sense. That seems like something that can be more easily transitioned into.
Yeah, like we don't get rid of private health but we would keep, yeah, we would keep that aspect of it, but just then add another aspect to where, you know, the health system's not so out of whack, where people are getting charged an arm and a leg to get health insurance that they can't afford for, I don't know. It's just so messy right now, it feels like.
Yeah, definitely. Um, so on my next question, I guess we sort of covered this already, but shouldn't insurance companies pay for more of the bill? Even in like a Medivac situation? I mean, it's part of something you have to go through because of your health issue, whatever it might be. You have to get transported to the hospital somehow. So shouldn't that be part of your medical bill? And shouldn't they cover more of it? And I know that some policies, uh, it's not part of what they cover, but I don't know. Like I feel like that should somehow be part of it.
Right. And that's the thing, you know, because our healthcare system right now is so messy that, um, you know, like a single payer would really help eliminate, uh, that we're yeah, to where we could at least get a basic level for everyone, and then like, yeah, we could even still have those the private health companies, depending on where you pay, that would show the percentage. Because like I said, like I work specifically with Medicare, and with at that, you know, part, when you have part A and B, they take care of 80%.
Mm-hmm.
See that, and I mean, but then sometimes even with that, you know, depending on the surgery, depending on, you know, if you get an ambulance company like that, 20% may still be out of reach for people. So it's you know, it's just a matter of, yeah, getting the insurance rates to where, you know, there's, we could get them scaled right with people's income to where they can get, you know, 100% insurance
Yeah.
at, more affordable rates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. It's difficult with all the policies and different levels of insurance that you can get. Like you kind of got to do a lot of research into what you're signing up for before you do it, or else you might end up in this situation where you're stuck with the $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 bill. And like that kind of goes into my next topic, like or my next question, where it's like somebody like me, if I got stuck in this situation, I don't know how I'd pay $44,000 back to anybody in any decent amount of time. um,
Um, yeah, you know, we have some problems with our healthcare system, and but also, you know what I noticed, in working in that industry is a lot of people are really irresponsible, and in that, like, you know, because it's part of it, just, I guess, an overall attitude with a lot of people in this country, where they want to prioritize money over their health. But like, if you don't have your health, then like, what's money worth? You know. So it's like, we should be prioritizing health over money, not the other way around.
oh, for sure. But we're in a capitalistic society. It's all about money.
uh, I don't know, man.
Yeah. Oh, I'm joking, but yeah, it should be more about health.
No,
I
you're
agree.
not. I'm serious.
Well, maybe a little bit.
Very, very serious.
Maybe a little. Um, Yeah, it's just when I read the article, it kind of made me think about that. It's like, I'd be
Oh,
screwed.
you're like, oh dang, I don't want to get hit with that bill.
That's just an arm injury, He wasn't even like his life wasn't necessarily on the line, just his arm. But and he wound up losing the arm anyways, and he still got stuck with a $44,000 bill.
Yeah. His arm was on the line. He did everything he could, lost his arm, and still got that huge ass bill. That is the breaks, son.
Oh man, poor guy. Yeah. Lucky for him, he is a doctor. Hopefully, he has some money saved up and he'll be all right. But yeah, for somebody like me who my best year I might make 30,000 a year. As far as right now, I there's no way I could afford to pay a $44,000 bill. So that was kind of a wake up call right there. It's like,
Yeah, you're like, if I
maybe
worked,
next time when I have an opportunity to ride an ATV, I'm just not gonna do it.
yeah, you're like, if I worked all year long, I'm still
Still
gonna owe you money. Yeah, it's like, nah.
and didn't pay
fuck that.
anybody else anything. Just all my money went towards paying that bill. Yeah, I still wouldn't.
Yeah, it's like, wait, you're telling me I can't eat, I can't have shelter, man, I can't live because you saved my life? Yo, just kill. It's kind of.
And he's probably thinking, he spent weeks and was in and out of surgery, them trying to save his arm before he finally decided to amputate it. So who knows what other crazy bills he has? This is just his transportation bill.
Yeah,
and then he finally decides to have it amputated. Whereas if he had just had it cut off in the first place, he'd probably only be paying the copay.
what is it? Hey, can he still do his work with one arm? It's a good thing that he wasn't like a lumberjack or something.
I want to say he was a cardiologist, but I could have that wrong. I didn't write that down.
Oh wait, yeah, I did read that. He's a radiologist, I think.
Radiologist, that's right. Okay, so yeah, he could probably do his job with one arm.
Hey, well, that's a blessing.
He still got his job, yeah.
Silver linings, baby. The silver linings. Gotta love it.
But yeah, in a job where you need both arms, you're in trouble.
Yeah, man.
You got to go back to work. They're like, nope, sorry.
Oh man. Yeah. Like, what do you mean I can't go?
We hired you. You got 100% of you. You're down to 95.
$50,000 bill. Wait, what was that?
I said when we hired you, we were counting on having 100% of your body here at all times, and it's that's not the case anymore. So you're not following our contract. You got to go.
Yeah, you're
Get
breaking our
arm
contract.
or bounce.
Yeah. Oh man, it's a cold, cruel world, man. Set.
One strong survive. You lost an arm, or you're weak now. Shouldn't have gone on that ATV. This is all your fault.
Yeah.
I'm joking. But
well, yeah, clearly. Yeah, I will. How dark?
I was just like have a good time, and it took a real dark turn. Sorry, but.
We're gonna hit. Yeah, actually, I noticed. Yeah, our podcast has got less dark lately. I think we need to. Like eradicate all one-armed people to like get back on track where we were.
There's a lot of people we can get rid of that would just like clean up the world real quick, and it would be a better place. But we're not allowed to do that, unfortunately.
Definitely brunettes. Brunettes have to go.
Damn.
I say my hair is black though, so it doesn't count as brunette.
I'm go dye my hair tomorrow.
You that'd be hella ugly. Seeing all kinds of like blonde black people.
It works for some, but not all.
Man, it didn't even work for Cisco.
And he's gay.
But I'll give it to one man. One man could rock the blonde hair. It's Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, he can get away with it.
Dennis
But
Rodman.
I never liked it with just one color. I liked it when he did crazy shit with it.
Yeah, Dennis Rodman can rock any color he wants.
But I mean, like, that's just how everybody always knew him. He always had the crazy hair. Like, that was just part of his persona. We just learned to love him that way.
Oh no! How about this? We get rid of people. Only green haired people are allowed to stay alive. So like it's just a race to the store for like hair dye. There's like just like a mass. It's the mass like hair dye battle.
Or like you have one day, one day, or you're dead. Better get that hair green.
Yeah, this is the real perch.
Government run.
Yeah. Speaking of horror movies, how was The Nun? Tell me about that. But don't give any like too specific details because I still need to see it.
All right.
Just general.
Enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I did watch The Conjuring. I don't believe I saw The Conjuring 2, and this is like a prequel to that, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, it is?
I believe so. And I believe the nun originally showed up in the second one, which, like I said, I failed to watch. But
okay, I haven't seen either of those.
Yeah, then they go and they explain that later, or in the nun they explain how she.
Does it work as a standalone? Like, would I need to have seen?
No, you don't need to know anything about The Conjuring or The Conjuring 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it was a prequel until I was just about to watch it, and it was explained to me by the person I went to watch it with. So.
Why are you being all discreet?
I went and watched it with my girlfriend. She likes horror movies, so I was like, this will be fun. And she was covering her face like half the time, so.
Awesome. Did you hold her tight when she was scared?
I let her hold me tight when she was scared. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Same. Shut up.
It was, and in this theater, the armchairs didn't go up, so we couldn't like get close to each other. I was like trying to get it open at the beginning of the movie.
That's so ugly. Y'all are like trying to
she's like
in between the chair. You're like,
yeah. So I got one arm over there, and she's hugging it with both her arms. I got like a leg, like one leg over on her side, and she's like wrapped both her legs around that leg, and she's like trying to cover her face at the same time. Every time something scary is about to happen, she'd cover her face.
So did you bring a blanket into the theaters?
No. But we went to the dollar store beforehand, and she smuggled a bunch of snacks in, so that was cool.
I tend to smuggle stuff into the like I'll go with like a big ass backpack too. I don't know why they don't stop by. I'll go in there with a backpack. It'll just be like I'll just have bags and bags of fucking popcorn in there. They charge you that much at the theater. Like,
you're telling me she's brought she's brought whole plates of food in. Like she has like a huge purse that she'll bring like a whole thing of food from like a restaurant or something in there, and her friends would be like getting down on that instead of eating the theater snacks.
Bruh,
But like we
I,
went to the dollar store,
I
probably
went
saved
to
me
the
like
theater.
$10 right there.
I went to the theater this one time with a bunch of friends, and like straight up, like in my backpack, we packed like a whole bunch of barbecue. Like we put the just the plates in like the Ziploc bags, and like then we got in there.
You go and smell like barbecue sauce.
Yeah, dude, we were in there grubbing. Yeah,
Some
we didn't
jealous
have
person gonna go and tell them something. These motherfuckers so smart. They brought barbecue in. Oh, fucking asshole. I'm telling.
The people, the people behind us were like, smell that shit. They're like, oh, these motherfuckers. Like,
right.
Straight scandalous.
As far as the Nun goes, though, I really enjoyed it. It had plenty of parts that made me jump, but nothing that scared me to where I was having trouble sleeping the next few nights or anything like that.
See, I like more like psychological thrillers. Those are the ones that like when they get you thinking, and then they fuck with what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Those are the fun ones. Did it do any of that? I think those are the horror that get hard for me.
Not so much. And I also think part of the reason it didn't scare me was it took place like way out in the middle of nowhere in a spot that I would never be caught in. So I was like, it's like, while that would be terrifying if I was there, I know I'm never going to be there. So I think I'm safe.
Steven, next time you're rolling with me, you will though, because we're gonna we really are gonna do that travel podcast at some point, and we will be on the road in some hick ass fucking part, because I'm a hick at heart, so I gotta go see my
This takes place in like a castle out in Europe, so really.
Last King of Scotland. I gotta go reclaim my throne. Do I look like Forrest Whitaker?
You gain about 100 pounds.
You said I need what?
Need to gain about 100 pounds and get the wonky eye and shave your head.
I did. You know, it'd be an awesome porn is like Forrest Whitaker on Danny DeVito in a mud fight.
That doesn't sound like porn at all, but
I think
I don't care if they're naked. I don't care if they have sex in the mud. That's not porn.
Oh man.
But that would be crazy. I wouldn't watch it.
Is Forrest Whitaker and Danny DeVito in The Nun? If so, I'm definitely watching that.
No, neither one of them. But that would have been fun. Maybe if Always Sunny in Philadelphia does a horror episode or something.
Oh my gosh! And they should guest star Whitaker. It would be brilliant.
Forrest Whitaker's like, somehow they get him in there. Yeah, I'd watch that.
I'd watch that. Who's your favorite modern actor?
How old can they be? Like, what do you consider modern? Like, still acting today, regardless of how old they are?
Still acting today.
Okay. That's got to be between Bruce Willis and Denzel Washington, I'd say.
Okay, those are good picks. I haven't seen Bruce Willis in something in a while. Besides, like he was in the Expendables or whatever, right?
Yeah, Expendables 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What,
I think he might be doing a sequel to Unbreakable after that movie Split.
a sequel to Unbreakable? I thought
Well, a
wasn't
sequel to
Unbreakable.
Split. It'll be a sequel to Split actually, but Split connected Unbreakable with Bruce Willis, and they showed Bruce Willis at the very end as the guy in Unbreakable, and
Well, because wasn't Unbreakable with Angelina Jolie?
I was thinking of that M. Night Shyamalan movie that he made back in the 90s, where Bruce Willis played a guy who's like unable to get hurt. He never gets sick or anything like that. And there's this Samuel L. Jackson plays the guy in a wheelchair who's all into comic books, and he's nicknamed Mr. Glass because everything on him breaks. So he's looking for the opposite of himself. Basically, he's looking for somebody who's like the opposite of Mr. Glass. They cannot be broken. And
I don't know if I've seen that one. I don't remember that because like I know
uh,
of M.
I'm
Night
just saying that.
Shyamalan, I've seen The Village and obviously Sixth Sense, and both of them were pretty bad.
Yeah, Unbreakable is probably my favorite. I enjoyed The Sixth Sense as a kid. I don't know if I could watch it again and not pick it apart. But it's been a long time since I saw Unbreakable too, so yeah, we'll see.
Okay. Well, check out The Nun, folks. High ratings by Steven, except
I
not
like
really.
Good Day movie.
but he likes it. I know,
Yeah.
and you're a good critic. We're gonna have to critique more films on here. Um, we could do a throwback critique. What's a film that you seen a while ago that I might have seen, and we could both critique it right now. Boom, let's go.
One of my favorites of all time is Snatch.
I like Snatch.
That's like in my top 3 probably all time movies, and
Wow, top 3.
I'd put it up there. Yeah, I've watched it at least 24 times.
Is it because it's so funny?
You know, it's a good mixture of funny, and it's got like that like gangster violence in there too, with
Mhm.
the dry British humor and all that. I really enjoyed it.
And if any of y'all didn't know, Steven used to be a gangster in his past life, so
I don't think
don't make him have to go snatch on you.
so. Yeah. But I mean, the cast was really good too. I liked that. Man, what's his name from the Transporter?
Jason Statham.
Yeah, Jason Statham, however you want to
Damn.
pronounce it.
Yeah.
I like that he played a normal role instead of some guy that just kicks everybody's ass. And he played just a normal, like he was a boxing promoter. That was his job, and he never fought one person in the whole movie. He just
You're like, Jason ain't kicking ass? What's going on here?
yeah. The only person who really kicked ass in that movie was actually Brad Pitt, and he was playing as a European gypsy, basically. So
And they will too. You gotta watch out for them gypsies, man.
savages.
Oh man. Gotta love the gypsies.
No, and I don't know how you feel about that movie, but yeah, that's a top one for me.
I mean, I thought it was good. Uh I don't know if it was like, see, because I'm kind of a cinematography snob too. So like I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if the cinematography was on point enough for it to be like that up there for me. But I
Mm-hmm.
thought it was fun, and I got some good laughs out of it. But
Yeah.
as far as that like dry British humor, um, I don't know. It's interesting, like because we both like really dry humor, but it seems
Mm-hmm.
like in films we tend to have different tastes in it. But I think Snatch was still like really funny. But you know what? I thought actually, I don't know if it was like a sequel to it.
Lock, Stock, and Two Little Barrels.
Yeah, or a prequel. Did that come before or after?
I'm not sure. It had a lot of the same actors. I don't know if they're connected anyway, but I enjoyed both of those movies. If
Yeah,
you like one, you should like the other, and I think it kind of depends on which one you watch first. I watched Snatch first, so I feel like I was more partial to Snatch.
I see. I think I
One
might have seen
critique I do have on Snatch is there's so many characters you have to keep track of, and it skips around from one group to the next, to the next, to the next. And it took me watching the movie like 3 or 4 times before I caught most of everything that was happening. I completely understood what was going on.
That's the thing for
I
me.
catch something new every time I watched it. I'm like, oh, now I get that.
For the movies that like where it's jumping around to build like a lot of characters to interwork with each other, that takes a lot of skill writing wise. And I just felt like, sometimes it got a little messy to where I was like, oh, okay, when's my guy gonna come back on? Like, do something? I don't know. There's just a couple points where like, yeah, it just it would like lose my interest for a bit, but then it'd come back and be really funny. So like that's what I think it would be up there for me, like maybe like like an 8 out of 10 or something, 8.5 out of 10, like something like that. But it wouldn't be like one of my tops. It would just be like a great funny movie.
Yeah. Well, I'll never give a movie a 10 because there's no such thing as perfection.
Oh my God, are you one of those people? Of course, there's no like perfect movie, but 10 just means it's like you're like one of your faves. It just means like you're like it's like a 9 plus it gets my heart.
Maybe. I'll give it 9.5.
Wait, so but you said top 3. So what would be your other 2?
I'd have to think about that. I just threw a number out there.
I knew it. You would.
Like, I can't think of too many movies that I put above that movie. I'll say top 3. It might be top 5. I'm not sure, but if I start counting, but I've watched so many. Yeah, it's hard. But yeah. Oh, you have anything to add to that? You had
just yeah, I could throw out a billion movies. I'm a huge cinephile. But yeah, I mean, I just like I don't know what I want to say. I'm a cyborg, but that's okay. Would be up there. Magnolia, Trust, Wild Strawberries.
I know one that we both liked. Wait. Was it Psycho or what?
Cable Guy. We both love Cable Guy.
That's a classic comedy to me. I'll still be watching that when I'm old.
I don't care what anyone says. That shit was hilarious.
I felt like that was like the role that goofy ass Jim Carrey should be playing. Not like I thought he was a little over the top in Ace Ventura, but
yeah,
playing a crazy Cable Guy, I thought he played it perfectly, and yeah, that was a lot of fun to watch. I still love watching that movie.
Yeah, because there's a lot of times where he would either be too over the top or just like too annoying, and like it'd be like he'd be funny sometimes, but then other times you're like, oh, good grief, like
yeah. But he played like a perfect annoying Cable Guy.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was like
really
it was
wanted
like,
a friend.
Like he was still excessive, but it was great because he was like a stalker. You know,
Yeah.
so he'd be like, "Oh yeah, let me get to know you," and then like next thing you know, he showed up at dude's house all the time. It's like, oh,
It's upsetting he got such terrible reviews on that movie, you know? Critics hated that movie.
it's because he was trying to kill the cable guy. You know, so
Somebody's got to kill the
highly to that. Yeah, the babysitter. Someone's got to kill the babysitter. That shit was funny. Wait, have you seen Magnolia though?
I have not.
That is one that I recommend highly because I think that because like I like a lot of foreign film, but I feel like Magnolia is one of the American films that really just shows like one of the top of our guy PTA, you know, Paul Thomas Anderson. He showed like what really some of the like large strokes of American film, and that's one where he did the damn thing with like taking a large cast group and really making them interwork in a way that seemed kind of lifelike and really like intermixing a large cast of characters in a really just like efficient way for the story and really over encompassing to like those little links between people, of that like kind of like small world aspect of like this guy's connected to this guy who's connected to this guy over here, all in these little ways that we don't even realize.
I do like movies like that. Yeah. Well, I'll have to watch that. I'll have to look it up. But I guess as for now, do you want to wrap this up?
Yeah.
For me, all I have left to say is I'm doing sober October this year. I won't be completely sober. I'll still be smoking weed, but I will not be drinking for the entire month of October. So
Steven's going half sober. But yeah,
weed's
as you
not
can
too
see,
much of a vice for me, but alcohol definitely is. I'll drink every day if I can. But
I appreciate you showing that you could go without it and taking that discipline upon yourself.
so I've stayed sober for over a month before. It's doable, but yeah, it's really just the first couple of days that'll suck. Hanging in there so far.
Well, we're rooting for you.
Appreciate it. Yeah. So yeah,
And
from today until October 31st, I will not have anything alcoholic to drink.
well, folks, it sucks for Steven, right? No, nah, it's always
I have
good.
more than enough to drink over the years. I think I can handle a month without it.
Discipline and responsibility are the gateways to freedom. But with that being said, tune in next week, folks. Oh, and be sure to send us questions, drop them in the comments here, or
Please do.
or message me on social media at DUALS Records, Duels Records.
Yeah.
And this has been episode 28 of Figure It Out. What are we figuring out again? Outer end.
Was that?
Outer end.
I guess it's in right now until we figure it out.
Oh, that's true. I haven't any.
Oh. Is that what it is?